guys, welcome back to the library. I'm glad you're back and that Mr. K brought you in for a little bit of world history, library work combined together. I know you guys, Mr. K had told me you're working on research on the Holocaust and World War II, and you're about to start your big research project. So he wanted to invite you in so that we could talk about how we find accurate, good, credible resources for you to use to find facts and things like that. So we're going to talk about a method today, and we're going to use an acronym of a word that you're generally not allowed to say at school. It's not too bad, but just out of respect, we're not going to repeat it besides for this assignment and anytime we're looking for research sources. Okay, so I'm going to be working with the smartboard today and also with the laptop. Our touch on the smartboard is off a little bit, so just kind of be patient with that. Okay, so the objectives for our lesson today, we're going to make sure that you can choose credible sources for research, use print and non-print resources to find facts, collaborate with others, and create and share an information product. Okay, so here comes that acronym. It says, oh, I almost forgot. It says, should I use this information source? Okay, so we really want to use a discerning eye like we've talked about a little bit in the library in the past when we try to find research sources. Not everything can work. Just because we can find it fast and easy doesn't mean it's a good choice. So, to answer the question, should I use a source? We're going to use the CRAP method, and you might be thinking, what does CRAP mean in the library? So we're going to talk about that. C-R-A-P. All right, the first thing, C stands for currency, R, reliability, A, authority, and P, purpose. So we have some kind of big words in there. We're going to talk about what each of those mean. Okay, when I'm looking at a source, say I pull up a website or I find a book, something like that, I might even see it on social media or something. I want to ask myself how current the information is. So here's some questions you could ask. When was the site last updated? Usually that's on the bottom somewhere. We're going to actually pull up a site in a few minutes to look for these things. When was the resource published? So this usually applies to websites or online digital sources. This is more books or magazines even. Is this current enough for your project? Okay, so some things, some sources might be a little dated, and sometimes that's okay. If you're talking about history and the event happened, say, decades ago, well, most likely there's been research done on it, and not a lot of new things are going to come up. So if you're looking at a website or a book that was published but hasn't been updated, it's older, sometimes that's okay. Now, if it's a science, technology, or current event that you're researching, you want to look for some sources that are more up to date, have been updated more recently, because things change a lot in those fields. You know, technology, think about how rapidly it's changed just in your short lifetime. If you're looking at a website that hasn't been updated since 2000, or a research article that's from 1997 and it's about technology, things have changed. Probably not going to be the best source. Okay, so we've got C, currency. Let's move on to R. R, reliability. Okay, how reliable is this source? Who is providing the information? Does the information come from a government site or an accredited school? So a lot of times you don't really want to look for .coms. You want to look for more .govs, .edus, or sometimes .orgs. Nonprofits, things like museums, things like that, often also have credible information. And ultimately, do you trust this source? Guys, the internet has millions of sources for you. If it's something that you don't think you can trust fully, find something else. Okay, there's all kinds of options. The who part we're actually going to talk about a little bit further with A. So we've got currency, reliability, authority. Okay, so authority, kind of who is in charge. Ask yourself when you get to a resource, is there a specific author on the site? And sometimes this can be a person. They put their name on there. Sometimes it can be a certain organization or a group. But it's a little more trustworthy if somebody is willing to put their name on the information they're giving. They're not trying to hide behind the computer, okay? Is the author's email address and or other contact information provided? Again, they're willing to put their contact information on there. So if you have an argument, you have a further question, they're saying, yes, we have the knowledge to back up what we say, okay? Is there a bibliography citing the sources? Are links to other reliable sources provided? You guys know what bibliographies are because you have to type them when you've done your papers in the past or projects in the past. This is just saying, hey, we can lateral reference or lateral read to find that information also somewhere else. So you can back it up with multiple sources. Okay, so we've got authority, we've got CRA. Let's move on to the P, purpose. What is the purpose of the book, the article, the website? Is its only purpose to inform? Did the people create it just to give you information, not to persuade you, not to entertain you for fun, although sometimes that can happen and it's okay. But we really want to look for just providing us information. Does a website present various sides of an argumentative issue? Sometimes this doesn't apply. For you guys, for your history, it's up for debate a lot of times, but sometimes it's just facts, and this is what happened, okay? Does the information use neutral language? It's not trying to super persuade you with words like it was the best, it's the worst situation, okay? They're really just giving you information and kind of letting you decide those types of things, all right? So we've got to P, purpose. So it's time for us as a class, and then you as your individual groups, to practice using the CRAP method, okay? So on your group tables, you'll see a paper, and it's actually a rubric for that you can use that lists the questions out. So this one's kind of small. I'm going to actually pull it up on our Smartboard software. We're going to use this along with a website to kind of work through it together. So you have a paper copy today, but we want to apply the CRAP method regularly. Anytime you're researching for any class, or even if you're at home, you know, a lot of times we'll see on our different social media sites things that are shared, information that's shared that we question. Well, I can look that up using the CRAP method from a reliable source, okay? So, let's pull up the site that we want to test the CRAP method with, okay? All right, so we're gonna look at it first. Think in your mind those things we just talked about, what we're looking for, the dates, the authors, the organizations, the contact information. We'll try to remember it. We can go back and forth to if we need to, okay? So we see we got the National Park Service. What else do you guys see on there? Okay, got the title. That Smartboard isn't working, so let's look down this way. We've got some information on there. Normally I'd have a student kind of read this with us, but the World War II Memorial honors the service of 16 million members of the Armed Forces of the United States of America, the support of countless millions on the home front, ultimate sacrifice of 405,399 Americans. On May 29th, 2004, a four-day reunion of veterans and national culminated in the dedication of the legacy of the greatest generation. Okay, and it kind of goes on from there. Let's see what else we can see. Okay. All right, we've got some pictures and some links to some other articles. Got some contact information. Got the mailing address, phone number, frequently asked questions. Okay, some things like that. Okay, All right, so let's look at our rubric. Okay, I have it closer here because, like I said, the PDF was kind of small. All right, so you guys have it on your paper. Let's work on this one together, and then you guys, in a few minutes, are going to try it on your own. Okay, so here's our checklist. We've got currency overall. How old is this information? So it's going to ask us when was this last updated? Okay, let's see how current it was. Do you guys remember the date that was on there? All right, let's check it just in case. Sorry, you gotta kind of go back and forth here. I'm not sure what's happening, sorry. Okay, yeah, you're right, June 16th, 2016, so actually not too long ago. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so let's put 2016 up here. Okay, so that lets us know, even though it's over history, it's not been that long since it's been updated. Is it current enough for your project? So remember, science, technology, or current event, it needs to be updated pretty closely to the time that you're researching at. If it's historical documents or historical information, it might be a little older. This one updated pretty recently, and it's over history. So what do you guys think? Yes or no? All right. Yes. Okay. Let's see if this will work. Close enough. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to reliability. Is the information accurate? What is its origin? Okay. Who is providing this information? Who was it? Yeah, the National Park Service. Okay, so we would write that there, National Park Service. I'm going to try to write it. Our smartboard is so bad. Okay, you guys write it on there. I'm going to put NPS for short, but you guys write National Park Service. I tried to align it, but something's going on. Does the information come from a government or accredited school organization? You remember? Okay, let's go back and we'll see if we can figure out where it was. Okay. Alright, so it tells us a couple of places. We've got the National Park Service there, and then we can also check for the .gov we see right there. Okay, so the answer to that one is definitely yes. Okay, it does. So you can circle that on your rubric. Okay, do you trust this source? Okay, so we haven't even been through the rubric yet, but your gut feeling, guys, you're smart enough, you know this. Would you trust it? I'm not going to circle that one because I want your group to decide yes or no. If you think so far that you trust, you could change your mind on down or after you do some lateral reading so you can kind of see, okay? All right, let's move on. So you guys are just going to go to that bottom half of your rubric, okay? And we're moving on to authority. Who produced and or shared the information, okay? Was there a specific author listed on this site? We didn't have a specific name. We do have the name of the organization. I'm gonna leave that up to you if you think that's a specific author or not. I'm gonna say yes because we know there are people who are trained to put that information out from the National Park Service. So for that one, I would say yes. Is the author's email address and or other contact information provided? Yes, it was. You're right. Yeah, we had a phone number. We had the location address. Quite a bit actually. So yeah, it was. Is there a bibliography citing the sources? Are links to other reliable sources provided? Did you guys see a bibliography on there? No, I don't think so either. Or links. That's not really super common. Now, if you start looking at things like Wikipedia, you'll see a lot there actually, but I'll show you a credible source that has those. Yeah, I don't see one on here. Okay, that's right. So we won't always have yeses. It's going to be rare that you find a site that's perfect, but you know, so that's okay. No. Again, super aligned. Okay. Is the website's only purpose to inform you? What do you think? Was it only giving information, or was it doing something else? talk about that with your group for a second. I'll pull it back up there, so if you need to read it over, you can. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up here while you guys are looking at your rubrics. So it says, is its only purpose to inform you? Does it use neutral language? It does give a lot of information. Now remember, this is a memorial page. So you might notice some words like the ultimate sacrifice, the greatest generation, things like that. So the language is not super completely neutral. We're having some superlative words, some things like that on there. So again, I'm going to let you guys kind of decide on that one if you think it was neutral language or something a little bit different. It's up to you. Okay? I would probably say I would probably be in the middle of that one. You know, sometimes you can do that, yes, kind of, and no, but it did give some information, so yes, okay? So here's the thing. Even from the National Park Service, we had a couple no's. But overall, would you trust that site? All right, hand up if you'd trust it and use it. Okay? Hand up if not, you wouldn't. All right. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's check out, another site. I'm just going to show you a little bit off of this one, okay? Oh, wrong one, sorry. Okay, so this one I'm going to pull up. It's actually going to take us a few steps to get there. So I'm a little biased as a librarian, but our goal is to make sure we share and provide accurate sources of information. So if you're searching, you're having trouble finding something that you need, the article that you need is linked to a paid site or something like that. Our library, linked through the Virtual Learning Commons, is some sources, and then also the Metropolitan Library System. So most of you guys have a library card because we had that big registration on family night. But if you don't, make sure you get one. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you. This site could look different when you log on. But when you go there, there's some a research link, okay? Go on down, databases. We've talked about those before. You guys have been using those a little bit in class through EBSCO. And when you get there, I was just searching the other day and I thought, all right, I need some information over World War I. So I thought I'd check under W. And, oops, I forgot to click it. Okay, W. And I went down. And I didn't find any specific to World War II, but I did find World History and Context. It might make me log in. Oh, no, you do have to have your login usually between that step. So I had logged in previously, so it didn't ask me. But you can just type in here, let's say, what do you guys want to research? It has to be over your topics Mr. K gave you, or that you decided on. Okay, we'll just in general do the Holocaust. Okay, pulled it up right there for me. And then, right there is our heading. We've got our information. Check out the references, the biographies. Look how much this is going to link to other sources for you. Okay, tons. So if you don't, I don't know if Mr. K's made you pick your topics yet fully or not, but if not, I mean, you can check out those biographies. You might even find somebody you hadn't thought of. Okay. So we've got featured content. You can go further. Say you wanted to do Anne Frank specifically. You wanted to research her. You could click on that. Okay. Think about that CRAP method as I'm kind of scrolling through here. How current is it? Is it reliable? Okay, who's the authority behind it? What is the purpose? Lots of info here. Look, you got further reading, so it is linked. You've got citation here. Okay, that's what we talked about earlier, the bibliography. So, what do you think? Passes the CRAP method? If you're not sure, hey, the rubric, CRAP rubric is on our virtual learning commons. So if you're not sure and you want a new one, you can always look there too. Okay? All right. Not only does this apply, we use it a lot with our digital sources today. Not only does it apply there, but it also applies to books. Okay? You might find this one at the library and think, I don't know if that'd pass. It kind of looks like a fiction story, okay? But if you look through it, you can see who the author is. You can look him up further, or it gives you information on the back here. You can see when it was published, how current is it, okay? Check for those citations. Got those too, okay? So not only are we gonna judge whether digital sources and internet sources are credible, we're also going to use the CRAP method for print sources too. Alright, so let's move on to our activity for today. This is kind of like a warm-up for your big research project and assignment Mr. K has for you. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to give you, actually they're already on your groups table. I'm going to give you some cards, and you're going to get a total of 5 cards. 3 of the facts on these cards are true, and 2 of them are false. They might be close to true, or they might be, or they might not be. Okay, you're going to have to kind of see. So on your card, you have 1 fact listed, and you also have a part where you need to put your resource, because we're going to go back when we do our project and we're going to cite those sources. Okay, we've talked about citations quite a bit in the library. So again, you have your fact and then your resource, so you can go back and find that easily. Remember to keep track of those as you go. But 3 of those, if you know them, if you're like a history buff over World War II or the Holocaust, don't say them. Work together as a group to figure it out, applying that CRAP method as you go through those resources. Because Mr. K and I are also going to check and make sure you chose a valid site. Okay? So there's those. When you get finished, you guys will be walking around kind of observing if you're using the method. But when you get finished, just holler at us, raise your hand, whatever. Get our attention so we can come see if you got them right. Okay, that is your assessment of whether or not you can identify those facts correctly. Almost remembered. Okay, so go ahead and get started. Oh, I forgot one more thing before you get started. When you get finished, you are going to create a project. Okay, so it could be a Prezi, it could be a video presentation, it could be an infographic, anything that you want to do to show us your 3 facts, as well as one more additional fact. Okay, so you're finding your 3 facts you want to do and find 1 more. Your 1 more fact, if you already know your more specific topic that you want to research further, say you chose Anne Frank, maybe your 1 more additional fact can kind of get you started on your bigger project you're going to do later for Mr. K. Okay, so 3 facts, 1 more additional fact, and then you guys are going to present those. Don't forget, in your presentation, to cite using that APA format we've been working on, okay? Remember, in our virtual learning commons, you can, if you need a refresher, the Purdue OWL is linked there if you need that, okay? All right, guys, you can get started.